Hello everyone, welcome to today's class. Today we'll be studying a very important topic, that is plastic pollution and how can we tackle it. So there's a Indo-American scientist and a philosopher, P.S. Jagdish Kumar. He said that plastic is the most destructive weapon, even more dangerous than a nuclear or an atom bomb because it stays in the environment for centuries, right? And he rightly mentioned it because plastic has such great severe and dangerous potentials which can harm our environment, our atmosphere. So today, in the same context, we will be dealing with this topic right from the definition of it, the context of it, the definition of it, and how can we exactly tackle it. So like always, I'll be dividing today's lecture into 5 parts. The first is context, second is definition, ठीक है? Third is the problems or the challenges. Fourth is plastic waste management rules of 2021. And then at last, way forward. So, 5 categories we have divided our today's lecture into, starting with the first. So, starting with the first thing, that is the context as to why are we reading this topic, the context of plastic pollution. Okay? Okay. So, recently at UNEA, that is United Nations Environmental Assembly, which is the highest decision-making body at the global level in terms of if we talk about the environment, at UNEA, we have committed that we will be addressing this severe problem, this dangerous problem of this destructive problem of plastic pollution. Also, at UNEP, that is United Nations Environment Program, a report released by it, and it says that the last year that emissions of plastic waste into the aquatic systems may triple by 2040 in the absence of actions, which says that if we do not take actions, तो aquatic region में marine debris जो है they can increase to 3 times which is today, so triple times ये increase हो सकता है by 2040 if actions are not taken at the right time. Okay, so we will, this is precisely the context of our today's topic कि हम ये क्यों पढ़ रहे हैं, क्योंकि ये न्यूज़ में काफ़ी है. Also, it is important for our environment and ecology GS paper and our current affairs. Definitely UPSC has been asking questions, a lot of questions on environment these days, so you must focus upon any topic which is related to environment and is repeated in the news. Okay, so plastic and plastic pollution. Coming to our second part or the second pillar of our topic, which is definition. Definition. How do we define plastic? So plastic basically, it is nothing but just, it is usually, just a second. I'll just narrate it to you. So it is usually it is usually either a synthetic or a semi-synthetic material wherein polymer is the main ingredient which it is made up of. ठीक है? So this is in brief प्लास्टिक्स होता है, ठीक है, प्लास्टिक्स होता है जहाँ पर पॉलीमर्स जो है वो मेन इंग्रेडिएंट्स होता है. एंड आई हैव यूज द वर्ड यूजुअली, ये यूजुअली सिंथेटिक या सेमी सिंथेटिक होते हैं. दे कैन ऑल्सो बी कंपोस्टेबल, दे कैन ऑल्सो बी डिग्रेडेबल, जहाँ पर हम सेल्यूलोज, कॉर्न स्टार्च या सोया प्रोटीन एटसेट्रा वी यूज सो दैट दे कैन बी डिग्रेडेड ऑन टाइम, सो दैट दे कैन बी डिस्पोज्ड ऑफ प्रॉपर्ली. ठीक है, सो बट यूजुअली दे आर सिंथेटिक पॉलीमर्स, दे आर नॉन बायोडिग्रेडेबल. ठीक है, सिंथेटिक पॉलीमर्स होते हैं, बायोडिग्रेडेबल नहीं होते हैं, राइट. ठीक है, सिंथेटिक पॉलीमर्स वी हैव रेड. नाउ मूविंग ऑन to the next slide, and we directly jump to the concerns of plastic. We know that plastic has been very, is growing as a very severe, is a very dangerous problem these days. And the data, there are many data which says, that it has, it has grown, the plastic waste or the plastic things has grown many times in the recent past. And it is basically covering, like, if we do not stop it, if we do not take proper action, there will be a thin plastic coverage. Suppose this is a earth, and there will be a thin plastic, cover, it, surrounding our earth by 2050, the estimates say this. Okay. So this could be, this could happen, this dangerous thing could happen if we do not stop this. What are the other concerns? The other concerns is कि 1970 में और 1980 में ये जो प्लास्टिक प्रॉब्लम की जो प्रॉब्लम्स हैं, प्लास्टिक प्रॉब्लम्स की जो एंजाइटी है, दे स्टार्टेड इंक्रीजिंग बिकॉज प्लास्टिक बिकेम अ स्पेशल टारगेट, क्योंकि सो मेनी प्लास्टिक प्रोडक्ट्स आर डिस्पोजेबल, प्लास्टिक लास्ट फॉर एवर इन द एनवायरमेंट. सो प्लास्टिक लास्टेड फॉर एवर इन द एनवायरमेंट. इसको हम डिस्पोज ऑफ नहीं कर सकते हैं. इसको हम डिस्पोज ऑफ करने के वी डू नॉट हैव द प्रॉपर सस्टेनेबल ऑल्टरनेटिव्स. सो दिस रेज्ड द कंसर्न ओवर प्लास्टिक. इसके अलावा we know that there has been a great increase in the single use plastic. ठीक है, हम बहुत सारे खाना डिलीवर करते हैं, wherein they supply, wherein they deliver us straws, those cups, wherein we just use them for once and we throw them. That is the single use plastic. Single use plastics बहुत ज़्यादा increase हो रहे हैं, which is also like when we throw them, it also accumulates at such a place. And ऐसा ही हम एक अनफॉर्चुनेटली एक अलार्मिंग जगह हम फॉर्म कर चुके हैं, which is Great Pacific Garbage Patch, which you all know is situated in the central North Pacific Ocean. ठीक है, and it is like of 1.6 million square kilometers. You imagine the plight, you imagine the size of it. 1.6 million square kilometers. This is like 3 times the size of France. This huge, this patch, this huge, this danger is, right? So you can now imagine the plight. Now you can imagine where are we heading towards. Okay? And these are the grave concerns related to it. Apart from this, apart from the environmental hazards it poses, it also possesses the human the health problems which we can suffer from. Like for example, while making the plastics, while manufacturing it, we put in some additives into it. Like for example, bisphenol A, BPA. ठीक है, phthalates भी हम कुछ phthalates भी use करते हैं इसमें, which leaches out into our food and directly into our body, causing a great cause of health concerns. ठीक है, so this is another issue which is related to it, which can definitely, once it reaches to our body, it can disrupt our hormonal cycle. ठीक है, it can disrupt our endocrine या फिर hormonal cycle को वो disrupt कर सकता है and can cause various health issues. It is also very very dangerous for the children also. ठीक है, so these are some of the concerns which it possesses. Up next we have कि ये इतना ज़्यादा हम इसको यूज़ कर क्यों रहे हैं. ठीक है, वी नो कि जब से प्लास्टिक शुरू हुआ है, इट इज़ लाइक अ ब्रेक थ्रू इन्वेंशन, राइट. ये इट मेड अ ब्रेक थ्रू thing. So, but why is it so? What are the advantages, or why is it so big today? Because there are various reasons to this as well. First, it is easily available. बहुत easily available है. From anywhere we can get this, the plastic or the polythene specifically, क्योंकि polythenes ही हम ज़्यादा use कर रहे हैं. We are also using the plastic bags and the bottles and everything, but definitely polythenes is something which is used at a wider range, at a wider level. Then it has low cost. आपको 1-2 रुपए में मिल जाता है. So it's very cheaper that way. It has minimal weight. बहुत हल्का होता है, बहुत light weight होता है, और काफ़ी ज़्यादा strength और durability भी होती है, जिसकी वजह से हम ज़्यादा उसको यूज़ करना पसंद करते हैं. Apart from this, it could be molded into any shape, but it cannot be, again, this is not a advantage of it, but I'm just telling you that it cannot be degraded easily, which is a grave cause of a concern, which is a danger to us. I'm using the word danger, I'm using the word destructive intentionally, because it is actually such a huge problem. We don't have to just read it as a topic, we have to actually think about it, we actually have to adopt those behavioral and those habitual changes in our daily lives, so that we can actually beat this problem, right? This is not just a topic which is limited to the UPSC, but it is a topic which is so much relatable to our daily lives as well. Okay, so we really need to work towards it. So I really request you that you don't just please listen to this topic, but make those little small efforts in your habits, so that you can make less use of plastics and can contribute to to help survive our mother earth. Okay, so these are some of the data which says in 1950 May the global plastic production was 1.5 million tons, but 2016 May it has reached to 335 million tons. And you can imagine, like I've told you, ki these things are making our earth into a thin plastic sheet. I mean, is covering our earth. All of these plastic जितना ये हम प्रोड्यूस कर रहे हैं, जितनी चीज़ें इंक्रीज हो रही है, it is polluting our earth to such a great level that it is becoming, it is getting covered with a thin plastic sheet. Okay, up next we have marine pollution. Acha, there are various types of pollution it causes. Marine pollution, land pollution, there's a lot of it. Marine pollutions की अगर हम बात करें, marine pollutions मतलब जो seas और ocean में जो plastic जाता है and it causes the pollution in the water, it is marine pollution. Marine pollution में किन किन चीज़ों की वजह से pollution happens? The first could be the fragments as common microplastics. बहुत सारे microplastics as in बहुत छोटे size के जो plastics होते हैं, we will get into the detail of microplastic also in the next slide. But microplastics की वजह से the marine or the marine life or the oceans, our seas are getting impacted, are getting polluted. Next would be plastic thread from synthetic fiber. बहुत सारे synthetic fibers से जो भी हम plastic threads बनाते हैं, they are also one of the causes of, one of the reason for polluting our marine system. Food items, microbeads जो हम बहुत सारे cosmetics वगैरह में use करते हैं, तो microbeads also are one of the causes. Construction activities में बहुत सारा plastic use होता है, which also we just use it and we just throw the wastage just like that, and it goes into our seas, it flows into our seas, polluting the entire marine ecosystem. Fishing and coastal tourism, हमें पता है जहाँ पर भी coastal tourism होता है, we find a lot of plastic waste there. So it is also one of the reasons the marine life or the marine ecosystem is getting polluted. Okay, plastics are present in a huge quantity in Pacific, Atlantic and Indian oceans. और हमने अभी great that garbage patch के बारे में भी पढ़ा है, which is situated, which is not situated, which we made in Pacific Ocean, the central North Pacific side. So how huge that problem is, and this problem is not just for our environment. It is causing problem to the animals, to the marine animals, to the normal animals, okay? To the human beings, because we are acquiring a lot of diseases because of that. So environment is getting impacted, human beings are getting impacted, the entire system basically is getting impacted. So you can imagine that how quickly or how urgently we need to deal with this, right? Moving on, the types of plastic waste. प्लास्टिक वेस्ट के बारे में हम पढ़ चुके हैं, हमने उसके कुछ इम्पैक्ट्स और कुछ जो भी चैलेंजेस हैं हमने पढ़े. बट व्हाट आर द टाइप्स ऑफ प्लास्टिक वेस्ट? वी अंडरस्टूड व्हाट प्लास्टिक इज एंड एवरीथिंग अबाउट इट, बट नाउ व्हाट आर द प्लास्टिक वेस्ट? प्लास्टिक वेस्ट को हमने दो टाइप्स में डिवाइड किया है. फर्स्ट इज द माइक्रो प्लास्टिक एंड सेकेंड इज SUP, जो कि काफ़ी इंपॉर्टेंट है और आप न्यूज़ में भी इसको बहुत बार सुनते होंगे. सिंगल यूज प्लास्टिक एंड माइक्रो प्लास्टिक्स. माइक्रो प्लास्टिक्स, लाइक आई टोल्ड यू, यू जस्ट नीड टू रिमेंबर दिस वन thing regarding microplastic, which is any plastic piece which has less than 5 millimeter of size, which is less than 5 millimeter in size, is termed as microplastic. I think this much is sufficient for you to know for your exam perspective, nothing more than that. So you definitely need not to go into the chemistry of this topic, definitely, but आपको concerns, जो challenges or the solutions हैं, because you are going to be the policymaker, so you must understand what are the concerns related to it, what are the challenges related to it, and how alarming this problem is, and this problem is becoming. And if you do not take the actions on time, what it could become, you need to understand all of those, right, rather getting into the chemistry of things. So yes, microplastic, just remember this thing कि जिसका 5 millimeter से size कम होता है जिन भी plastic pieces का, is termed as microplastics. इसी में हम माइक्रोबीड्स भी आते हैं. माइक्रोबीड्स जो मैंने अभी बताया, बहुत कॉस्मेटिक इंडस्ट्रीज में बहुत ज़्यादा यूज़ होता है माइक्रोबीड्स का. सो दैट इज अबाउट इट, राइट. Next comes single use plastic. Single use plastic, like I've told you, we just use and throw them. Delivery में बहुत सारे food industry में single use plastic का बहुत ज़्यादा use है. We just bring that plastic in our home and we just use it and throw them. Again, it gets accumulated and the same things happen, which we've been reading abhi. Okay. Next is a graph which shows कि single use plastic का per person, सिंगल यूज प्लास्टिक वेस्टेज जो है पर पर्सन किस कंट्री में कितने लोग प्रोड्यूस करते हैं, पर पर्सन कंट्रीज में कितना जनरेशन हो रहा है सिंगल यूज प्लास्टिक का, एंड दिस वी गो कंट्री वाइज. सो द मैक्सिमम इज 59 kgs पर पर्सन. 59 kgs ऑस्ट्रेलिया में प्रोड्यूस कर रहे हैं. इफ यू कंपेयर इट विद इंडिया, इट इज 4 kgs. Remember, we do not have to be happy about it, because we are not here to not really compare ourselves with the other countries, but we have to completely eliminate it at our level. At least we can definitely then go at the global level, but we need to completely eliminate it at our level at least, and that can only be possible if we have sustainable alternatives to beat this pollution, to beat this plastic pollution. So yes, we are at a very lower stage, but still we really don't have to be happy about it. Like I said, we need to eliminate even this much, because this is a real problem. ठीक है. Australia is the major polluter in terms of plastic pollution, because they are producing 59 kgs of plastic waste per person, if we are talking here. Then next come USA, which is producing 53 kgs per person. Then South Korea 44 kgs, UK 44 kgs, the same. Japan 37 kgs, Spain 36, 34 is 34 is by Spain, Germany 22, and China 18, and we are at 4 kgs, but we have to eliminate even this as well, right? So this was the graph. Moving ahead, talking about some statistics pertaining to India, क्योंकि हमारे एग्जाम के लिए the Indian perspective is always important, and yes, we are reading it as a real challenge, but we are also reading it for our exam perspective. ठीक है. I really want you to focus upon it. I really request you to get those those small efforts and those small habitual changes, so that we can beat it together. This is really something which we need to get this thing done as soon as possible. Plastic waste in India. According to CPCB, Central Pollution Control Board, CPCB, which is a statutory body, it comes under Ministry of Environment and that climate, this thing ministry, ठीक है. And it got established in I guess 1974, I guess. Please check it if I'm I don't know if I'm missing on something. It got established in 1974, I guess, under Water Act. So just check this fact. I think it got established in 1974 only, but yes, it is a statutory body which says that India generate 26,000 tons of plastic a day, and over 10,000 tons a day of plastic waste remains uncollected. Now, there are two problems we need to see here. First, we are generating this much. Okay? This is the first problem. And second, usme se the half of it is remain uncollected. we are unable to dispose it properly. This is the second issue. एक तो हम generate कर रहे हैं, this in itself is a issue, but we are unable to dispose whatever we are generating is the another issue we are facing. So we need to work on both the issues. First, we need to stop generating that much. Eventually this will happen. I'm not saying कि एक ही दिन में आप पूरा ban कर दो. Eventually this will happen, that we will reduce uh, producing or generating such large amount of waste. And then whatever we are generating, we need to find alternatives, we need to find sustainable solutions so that it can be disposed of properly to save our environment. Second, there's another data which is given by Federation of Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industry. It is a non-governmental, it is what it is, a non-governmental trade association. It is basically the largest and the oldest and the apex organizations of our country. It says this conducted a study, and it says that plastic processing industry is estimated to grow 22 million tons a year by 2020 from 13 million ton in 2015, and nearly half of this is single use plastic. जैसे मैंने आपको बताया कि single use plastic is the major problem out of all the plastic we are using, because बाकी plastics को हम time in I mean हम एक बार, दो बार, तीन बार, चार बार हम यूज कर सकते हैं, बट सिंगल यूज प्लास्टिक इज समथिंग जो हम एक बार यूज करते हैं, वी जस्ट ब्रिंग इट होम एंड वी थ्रो इट. So this is the major problem. अगर हमें, if we have to really deal with it, we need to start with the ban of single use plastics in our country, and then we can eventually move on to the other kinds of plastics also. The third, you can say the third statistic says India per capita plastic consumption is less than 11 kg, जो हमने अभी पढ़ा, which is nearly which is nearly a tenth of United States of America, which is 109 kg. But again, I don't think we should be getting really proud at such statements. Definitely, they're using it more and we're using it less, but still, I don't really found them attractive and really to be proud of, because this is something we really need to get rid of completely. तो हम थोड़ा करें या बहुत ज़्यादा, I mean, हमें ये बिल्कुल ख़त्म करना है. That's what we are targeted upon. Again, we have a map which is talking about the plastic and the plastic pollution. So here it says about the countries polluting the oceans the most. Here we are specifically talking about the oceans or the marine debris. ठीक है, जहाँ पर चाइना इज द कंट्री विच इज प्रोड्यूसिंग मिसमैनेज्ड प्लास्टिक वेस्ट. मिसमैनेज्ड प्लास्टिक वेस्ट होता है जिसको हम ओपनली डंप कर देते हैं. द वेस्ट विच गेट्स डम्प्ड ओपनली इज मिसमैनेज्ड प्लास्टिक वेस्ट. द नेम ओनली इंडिकेट्स मिसमैनेज, मतलब जिस प्लास्टिक वेस्ट को हम अच्छे से मैनेज नहीं करते इज मिसमैनेज प्लास्टिक वेस्ट. सो चाइना लीड्स in that rank, ठीक है, and then Indonesia, Philippines, USA stands here because they are disposing their things properly. So this is just to give you an overview, an idea about what's happening globally. Now, talking about the challenges, what are the challenges associated with it? Mismatched plastic waste, लाइक आई टोल्ड यू, इसका मतलब होता है प्लास्टिक डम्प्ड ओपनली. ठीक है, जो भी माइक्रो बीड्स या फिर माइक्रो प्लास्टिक्स हम यूज़ कर रहे हैं, वी आर अनेबल टू डिस्पोज देम प्रॉपरली एंड वी जस्ट थ्रो देम, वी जस्ट डम्प देम ओपनली, causing a great causing the threat to our environment, to our oceans particularly. ठीक है, spurious biodegradable plastic. spurious का मतलब होता है false और fake. So the manufacturers or the manufacturing companies, what they do, they make claims that this particular plastic is biodegradable, but their claim is false or spurious at time. This is what we are referring to, that spurious biodegradable plastic. In the absence of robust testing and certification to verify claims, see, we do not have the robust or a proper mechanism wherein we can test and certify the plastic, whether they are degradable or non-biodegradable. ठीक है, at the consumer level, especially at the common people, especially the consumer level, especially, we really don't have any certification mechanism, or we do not have any technology जिससे हम ये identify कर सके whether this particular product we are using is made up of complete plastic or semi synthetic material, or what kind of thing it has into it. So they claim, they do this false claim, and we just accept it due to the lack of proper certification mechanisms. ठीक है? Apart from that, online e-commerce companies, हम सबको पता है that there's this popularity of online retail and food delivery apps, just which is contributing to the plastic waste to a great level. माइक्रोप्लास्टिक्स हम ऑलरेडी पढ़ चुके हैं. माइक्रोप्लास्टिक्स जो हैं बहुत मुश्किल हो जाता है. दे गेट ट्रैप्ड इनटू द एटमॉस्फेयर. इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू filter them out. It's very difficult to dispose them from our environment. So microplastics again is one of the alarming challenges we are facing. Apart from that, continuing with the challenges only, apart from that, agar ocean mein plastic बढ़ता है, so this also causes impact to the fishes, to the planktons, basically to the marine life, the life which is inside the ocean, the fishes, the planktons and everything. ठीक है? Directly impacting the food chain, क्योंकि अगर कोई human being is eating that fish, it will directly enter into the food chain. ठीक है? Impacting the humans also. ठीक है? So not just the oceans, but it is also impacting the marine life. It is also indirectly or directly rather impacting the human life as well. ठीक? Marine litter, plastic pollution, fresh water हो या marine environment, जो भी water है हमारे पास, have been identified as a global problem, and it is estimated that plastic pollution accounts for 60 to 80% of marine plastic waste. So whatever waste the oceans has, 60 to 80% constitutes of plastic waste. Okay? And not just the plastic waste is present in the the oceans or the seas, it is also present at the land. Okay? So that's what the next point is talking about. It is talking about the terrestrial plastic. Okay? Up next, we have improper implementation and monitoring. This is again one of the challenges we are facing, which is contributing to the rise of, I should not rather use this word rise, which is contributing to this danger of plastic pollution, that we do not have proper policies. And even if we have proper policies, we are lacking at their implementation part, or शायद ये सभी policies का एक ही problem है. The implementation part always lags, but आप अपने मेंस के लिए यू कैन डेफिनेटली write this point, क्योंकि this is, I think, the common point for every problem, that implementation part lacks. All right. Next is the government initiatives or the government interventions. What are the government initiatives, or what are the government interventions? And we are here talking about Indian perspective right now. So 2018 में आप सबने सुना होगा, there was a great theme to get rid of this pollution, which was beat the plastic pollution. बहुत ज़्यादा न्यूज़ में रहा था, बहुत ज़्यादा एडवर्टीजमेंट्स भी हुए थे. Beat the plastic pollution, beat the plastic pollution. We actually hosted this event in 2018, and this theme basically urged everybody, urged the communities, the industries, and we as an individual to come together towards reducing this problem, and also to to explore the sustainable alternatives regarding this problem. So this was the major aim of this, or of this theme behind beating the plastic pollution. Apart from this, this was about Indian perspective. Apart from this, at global level, if we talk about the G20 जो group है of 20 nations, so they also they also agreed to adopt new implementation framework for actions to tackle this marine plastic waste. So they also agreed to tackle this problem, especially of marine plastic waste. Apart from that, we came up with plastic management rules 2016 and EPR, and then we also got this thing amended in 2018. We will be dealing with this in details in the next slides. हम plastic waste management rule 2016 के बारे में और EPR, that is extended producer responsibility के बारे में हम डिटेल में अभी जानेंगे in our next slides, right? So moving on, like I said, plastic waste management rules 2016. Plastic waste management rule 2016 talked about a central registration system, ठीक है, for the registration of the producer, importer, brand owner, ठीक है, everyone has to come together. Whosoever is producing the plastic, they have to come to this platform and they have to register themselves at this single platform. This was one of the major provisions of plastic waste management rules 2016, though it could not get, get us those results, the intended results, but still we will read about the provisions so that we can read about the plastic waste management rules which came recently in 2021. अगर हमें 2016 का पता होगा, हमें ये पता होगा कि 2016 में these were the particular provisions which came, but we could not really implement it, but we could not really get the desired results. Only then we will be able to understand that what are the topics or what are the provisions we basically we designed for 2021 for this year, 2021 or 2022 for this year to tackle this problem. ठीक है. This also this rules also lay down phasing out of multi-layered plastic, ठीक है, which is now applicable to MLP, which are non-recyclable, non-energy recoverable, ठीक है, with no alternative use. तो multi-layer plastics जो एक ही चीज़ पे काफ़ी जो लेयर्स होती है ना, किसी भी प्रोडक्ट पे जो काफ़ी लेयर्स होती हैं प्लास्टिक्स की, दैट इज़ मल्टी लेयर प्लास्टिक्स, उसको भी फेज आउट करने की 2016 वाले रूल ने बात करी थी. अपार्ट फ्रॉम दिस, द सेंट्रलाइज्ड रजिस्ट्रेशन सिस्टम जिसकी हमने यहाँ पर बात करी है, दिस विल बी इवॉल्व और दिस विल बी मेड बाय CPCB, जो मैंने बताया, विच इज़ अ स्टैट्यूटरी बॉडी, ठीक है. नेक्स्ट इज स्टेट लेवल रजिस्ट्रेशंस होंगे, नेशनल लेवल रजिस्ट्रेशंस होंगे for the better implementation of the things. Moving ahead with the with the same rule or with the same provisions, Indian Plastic Waste Management 2016 called for a ban on plastics bag below 50 micron thickness. ठीक है. What this rule said, 2016 May, we made a provision that we have to phase out all the plastics which is below 50 micron of thickness. And why did we do that? We did that because the more will be the thickness, the more recyclable the plastic would be. They have a direct relation. जितना आपकी thickness होगी plastic की, the more will be recyclability of that plastic. So the more it will be, the more recyclable it will be, right? And there were certain states, like for example Bangalore, they did a brilliant work to it. They did what? They announced this complete ban on plastic. So yes, steps were taken, yet we need to do even more because हमें desired results नहीं मिले, इसलिए we came up with 2021 वाले provisions. We will read them in our next slides, but yes, Bangalore was one such state जिन्होंने supply manufacture में ban लगा दिया था plastics के. Next is we definitely need to strategize things with plastic that has already been disposed of. The CPCB report ने भी ये कहा था that in solid waste management rule 2016, waste has to be segregated separately at a source. This could be the one point जहाँ पर हम plastic को dispose of करने का सोच सकते हैं, क्योंकि अब जो produce हो गया वो हो गया, but हमें अभी ये सोचना है कि जो भी produce हो चुका है उसको हमें dispose of कैसे करना है, right? So this was about some of the provisions of it, some of the provisions of 2016. Now we will talk about a very important topic, that is EPR, Extended Producer Responsibility. This is a really important topic because UPSC has asked this question prelims once, and any new fancy term you read in the newspaper, make sure you make a note of it, because UPSC has this habit of asking direct questions from those words. So EPR is one such word, EPR is one such topic, Extended Producer Responsibility. So what is it? Extended producer responsibility. Like the name suggests, it is the producer's responsibility. The one who is producing the plastic, it is the producer's responsibility. It makes the producer accountable for its product management, right? So in simple words, ये producer की responsibility होती है that he should make its product sustainable. Okay, so that's what EPR is all about. Nothing more than that you need to remember from this slide. Just that whatever I'm telling you, आप उतना ही याद रखें. That is sufficient. Other than that, we have already read about Beat the Plastic Pollution in 2018, which we started in 2018. We were the host, or we just wanted everyone to come together to find the alternative solutions to the plastic, right? 5th June ko, I guess. Yeah, this is not mentioned here, but 5th June ko we celebrate World's Environment Day. And I've also told you about certain implementation part of it, that Bangalore was one such city which has started implementing the things also by banning the plastic. Up next, we have the efforts at international level to curb the plastic pollution. So, if when we start talking about the international efforts, the first which comes to our mind is Marpol Agreement. Marpol Agreement is basically is an international convention for prevention of pollution from ships. ठीक है? They were actually this entire concept started when there were many attacks on the ship, and there used to be a lot of pollution through ships. They used to dump the plastic into the sea, and that is why we came up with this convention. We came up with this agreement called MARPOL, which bans the ship dumping the plastic waste into the sea. Right. Apart from that, we also have this Honolulu strategy, which is created by UNEP, which is created by United States and UNEP. Right. Then after that, UNEP का ही एक campaign है which we call Clean Seas campaign, again which asks people, request people, or ask people to come together and beat this pollution or reduce this plastic pollution, right? So these were some of the international efforts you can jot down and you can quote in your examination. EPR we have already talked about, so there's nothing to repeat it. I'll just quickly read it for you. EPR is a policy approach under which producers are given a significant financial and physical responsibility for the treatment and disposal of the post consumer products. So producers are given this responsibility of their product, or doing their product management. This was about EPR, or extended producer responsibility. Now, talking about our major topic of the day, which is Plastic Waste Management Rules 2021. I've been talking about this, I've been telling you that we'll be reading 2021 wale rules also when we were reading 2016 wale rules. So, this is Plastic Waste Management Rule 2021. Okay, so the first thing, or the first provision it talks about, is single use plastic. Again, we are emphasizing so much upon single use plastic because they only possess a, you know a very very high potential to just degrade, just destroy our environment. So our initial step should be to curb this first, and then eventually we can curb the other forms of plastic. But initially हमें single use plastic को ban करना पड़ेगा. So our government also came up with many policies and many initiatives, many plans, so that they can curb this single use plastic. The first provision, it says that there is to be a ban on the manufacture, use, sale, import, and handling of some of the single-use plastic. 2021 में हमने ये बोला है that there will be a ban on manufacturing, use, sale, or imports पे हम ban लगा देंगे on some of the single-use plastics. Of course, we cannot completely ban everything just like that. We have to do things eventually, gradually हमें चीज़ें करनी पड़ेंगी. हम ऐसे ही सब कुछ ban नहीं कर सकते हैं. Okay. Then next is multi-layer packaging को भी हमने कहीं ना कहीं हमें बंद करना पड़ेगा. So this is also prohibitory. Third says they shall apply to every state, every waste generator, local body, gram panchayat, manufacturers, importers, producers, brand owners, सब पे कहीं ना कहीं ये rules applicable हैं. Next, it says thermoset plastic and thermoplastic will also fall within the ambit of these rules. Now, what are thermoset plastic and thermoplastics? Thermoplastic basically are the plastics which can be molded by the use of heat. When we heat them, they can be molded, right? And the examples is polythene. The very famous example is polythene. So polythene is a thermoplastic. Apart from this, PVC is also one example. Polyvinyl chloride is also the example of thermoplastic because it can be molded. Okay? When we heat them, they can be molded. Sorry. Next is thermoset plastic or thermosetting. Thermoset plastic होते हैं which cannot be molded by the use of heat. और इनका बहुत जो major example हैं, the examples are bakelite and melamine. You all must have read about them in your 12th class, I guess. In chemistry का NCERT, you all must have came across these words, जो कि utensils में या switch बनाने में, स्विचेस बनाने में काम आते हैं, बेकलाइट एंड मेलामाइन. Those were the examples of thermoset plastics, and polythene and PVC are the example of thermoplastics. ठीक है? So these rules are also applicable to the thermoset and thermoplastics, right? Apart from this, these provision will, however, not apply to commodities made of compostable plastic material. तो ये कहाँ पर एप्लीकेबल नहीं होंगे? कंपोस्टेबल या फिर जो बायोडिग्रेडेबल मटेरियल से जो हम प्लास्टिक बना रहे हैं, लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल we are using corn starch to make corn, we are using starch to make, we are using soy protein to make it, ठीक है, we are using cellulose to make such bags, ठीक है, तो उन पे ये वाले rules applicable नहीं होंगे, of course for obvious reasons, क्योंकि ये हम majorly synthetic के लिए ये rules बनाए हैं, because they are the ones who are the major culprit, who are, actually we are the major culprit, not the plastics, because we are making them. Okay, up next we have divided the rules, we have divided the management rules into three parts, into three stages. The first stage ये है कि the first rule, it proposes that each sheet of non-woven plastic are the non-biodegradable plastics only. आपके घरों में भी बहुत सारे polythenes होंगे जो आपको, which looks like as if they are made up of clothes, but they are not really made up of clothes, they are made up of plastics only, ठीक है? So but yes, though so they are not made up of clothes, they are made up of plastics only, but we call them non-woven plastic. इनकी काफ़ी ज़्यादा ड्यूरेबिलिटी और स्ट्रेंथ ज़्यादा होता है, बट अगेन दे आर प्लास्टिक्स ओनली. नो नीड टू गेट कन्फ्यूज्ड विद दिस वर्ड, राइट? सो each sheet of non-woven plastic carry bag shall not be less than 60 GSM per, less than 60 or 240 micron in thickness. And I've told you the reason behind it. The more thicker it is, the more recyclable it will be. So we need to keep the thickness more. Take a carry bag made of virgin or cycle plastic shall not be less than 120 microns. So these are some of the limits given to it. So that was about the first stage. Talking about the second stage mein what are we going to do? Second stage will come into effect when 6 categories of single plastics jinko hame ban karna hai, and those 6 classes or 6 categories of single use plastics would be earbuds. जो हम earbuds use करते हैं उनमें बीच में, if you remember, plastic होता है, and we can definitely replace it with wood, and there are other alternatives, but earbuds is something we need to ban, we need to put a ban upon, ठीक है? Earbuds जिसमें plastic sticks होते हैं, plastic sticks for balloons, plastic flags, candy sticks, ice cream sticks, polystyrene जो thermocol जो हम decoration के लिए use करते हैं, all of this will be banned. पूरा sale, use, manufacturing, everything will be banned, and this is the second stage of plastic waste management rule 2021. Coming to the third stage says there will be a ban on what all things? Single use plastic plates, single use वाले जो cups होते हैं, glasses होते हैं, cutlery होते हैं, fork, spoon, these all are the single use plastics. तो इन सब पे हमें ban लगाना है. तो 3 stages में हमने इस पूरे उसको rules को divide किया है, wherein first we will be dealing with the non-woven plastics, then we will be banning these things जो हमने 6 categories में divide किया है, and at the third stage we will be banning all of these things, right? Okay then, moving on. Yeah, what else is covered? What else is covered in 2021 वाले rules? I think we have covered all of it. We have covered non-woven plastic. हम पढ़ चुके हैं. You must know, you should not get confused with this word. It's the same, non-biodegradable only. It looks like cloth, but it is highly dangerous when we heat it, or when we not heat it, when we burn it. It releases that toxic dioxins into the air, which is again very harmful for our nature. Then plastic waste processing, it means recycling. ठीक है, कई बार बहुत डिफिकल्ट वर्ड्स आप पढ़ेंगे, बट उनका मतलब बहुत ईजी होता है. प्लास्टिक वेस्ट प्रोसेसिंग, इट रेफर्स टू एज रिसाइकलिंग ऑफ द वेस्ट. देन वी हैव सिंगल यूज प्लास्टिक. हमने काफ़ी पढ़ लिया आज के लेक्चर में सिंगल यूज प्लास्टिक के बारे में. आई थिंक द हाफ ऑफ द लेक्चर वी टॉक्ड अबाउट सिंगल यूज प्लास्टिक्स ओनली. थर्मोसेट प्लास्टिक्स हमने पढ़ लिया है, विच कैन नॉट बी मोल्डेड विद द यूज ऑफ हीट. बेकलाइट, मेलामाइन हमने इनका एग्जाम्पल देखा. थर्मोप्लास्टिक हमने पढ़ लिया, जिसका पीवीसी और पॉलिथीन हमने एग्जाम्पल देखे हैं, जिनको हम मोल्ड कर सकते हैं हीट को यूज करके, right? So Now, again, some datas by CPCB. CPCB said that 3.3 metric ton of plastic waste was generated in India 2019 में, ठीक, और municipal solid waste generate किया हमने 55 to 65 million tons. Plastic waste is approximately 5 to 6% of the total solid waste generated in the country. Even if it is 5 to 6%, but I would say even then it is huge, and we really need to tackle this problem. Though it is 5 to 6%, but फिर भी हमें इस पे काम करने की बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरत है. So these are again the challenges and the things related to it. Okay. Now, what is the way ahead and the way forward? Way ahead is always important, क्योंकि हमें पता होना चाहिए कि what are the, because to solve any problem actually we need to understand the problem, and then definitely we need to jump onto the second part, which is to solve the problem. So way ahead is in the same lines that we what could be done. Managing plastic waste requires knowledge. We need that awareness, we need that education, we need that knowledge, not among those who produce the plastic but also who handles it. So not just this knowledge should not just be limited to the producers, but also it should reach to us, to the individual who are using it. So that education, that awareness is really important. Brand owners ho, chahe consumers ho, chahe recyclers ho, regulatory authorities ho, everyone need to take a long stride in ensuring that we first inventorize the first total amount of plastic waste that we generate by means of proper calculation. So first we need, what we need to do, we need to calculate as to how much we are generating. Then the second step would be we need to see कि कहाँ पर हम plastic को use करना कम कर सकते हैं. We can reduce the use of it, or we can minimize the use of it. Third would be that we need to understand, especially the brand owners or the manufacturers or the suppliers need to understand that whatever they're producing, उनका final result क्या होने वाला है, that they're going to people are going to throw them in the ocean, people are going to throw them just like that in this on the land only. So they need to understand, they need to be really sensitive towards this topic. They need to understand कि whatever they're producing, उसका final result या final outcome क्या होने वाला है, and accordingly they should produce, or they should manufacture their products. Last, as the consumers also, we also need to ensure that plastic waste जो भी हम हमारे घर से जा रहा है, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल वी नीड टू मेक श्योर दैट वी अडेप्ट दोज behavioral changes into our habits so that we stop using it. ठीक है, हम हमारे पास घर पे हमेशा कोई ना कोई ऑल्टरनेटिव होता है. We can always carry our own cloth carry bags while we are going to a grocery shop or anywhere. So these are the small steps we can take. Moving on to, yeah, the next part of it, that we need to raise awareness towards reducing the plastic waste. We need to really aware people, we need to really educate people, and we need to modify their behavior so that we can reduce this plastic pollution. We can also promote the alternatives, we can also give incentives to the industries, to the producers, to the manufacturers, so that they can produce or they can explore the sustainable alternatives. ठीक है, we can give them tax rebates, R&D में हम कुछ tax rebates दे सकते हैं, so that we can come up with a better solutions to deal with this alarming problem of plastic pollution. Next is that, yeah, next is like I've told you, that we can always provide the incentives to our industries ताकि they can come up with the better solutions. Expanding the use of biodegradable plastics, we can use the biodegradable plastics. ये हम पहले पढ़ चुके हैं कि compostable plastics या फिर biodegradable plastics जो कि बैगे से भी बनते हैं, जो शुगर केन का जूस एक्सट्रैक्ट करने के बाद जो भी रेजिड्यू बचता है, इसको बैगे से कॉर्न हो गया, स्टार्च हो गया, बहुत सारी चीज़ें होगी जिससे हम कंपोस्टेबल या बायोडिग्रेडेबल प्लास्टिक्स बना सकते हैं. वी मस्ट स्टार्ट यूजिंग देम, मेकिंग देम फर्स्ट एंड देन यूजिंग देम, मेकिंग इट अ हैबिट. माइक्रो बीड्स कहीं ना कहीं हमें ख़त्म करना चाहिए. वी शुड प्रोहिबिट एंड वी शुड पुट अ बैन ऑन इट. वी शुड नॉट बी यूजिंग माइक्रो बीड्स. Next is Swachh Bharat mission. Swachh Bharat mission में this thing should be emerged into Swachh Bharat mission, so that we can take it to a larger level, so that we can take it to a national level, and we can opt better solutions. Next is target the most problematic single-use plastics. We have been talking about it since the starting of our lecture कि initially जब भी हम शुरू करते हैं to deal with this problem, the first step should be to deal with the प्रॉब्लम ऑफ सिंगल यूज प्लास्टिक, क्योंकि ये खत्म होंगे तो कहीं ना कहीं हमें काफ़ी रिलीफ मिलेगा, एंड देन वी कैन ग्रेजुअली मूव ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट स्टेप ऑफ डीलिंग विद द अदर फॉर्म ऑफ प्लास्टिक्स. Then consider the best actions to tackle the problem plastic waste management. ठीक है, तो थ्रू रेगुलेटरी इकोनॉमिक अवेयरनेस, वी हैव रेड ऑल ऑफ दिस. ठीक है, ये सब अवेयरनेस, वॉलंटरी एक्शंस एंड ऑल ऑफ दीज वी कैन टेक टू tackle the problem. Now, this is the last slide of our day, which is again suggesting a way forward, or some solutions that we can assess the potential it is causing to our social, economic, and environmental impacts. We have already read that it is not just impacting the environment, it is also impacting the human health, the animal health, our earth, overall health of our earth. So we need to really understand, we really need to understand the potential it has. Okay? The dangerous potential rather it has. So we really need to understand this. We then need to identify and engage all the स्टेक होल्डर्स. अगेन ये एक ऐसा पॉइंट है, बहुत कॉमन पॉइंट है, जो हम अपने मेंस में हमेशा वी कैन कोट दिस, दैट all the stakeholders should come together to solve this problem. Again, this is the same point, that all the stakeholders, be it the retailers or the consumers or the producers or the manufacturers, everyone should come together to solve this problem, to have those habitual changes and bring with and come up with some alternative solutions. Then if nothing works, we always should have punitive or certain punishment measures to it. अगर कुछ भी काम नहीं करता है तो ये वाले measures होने चाहिए. I believe ये होने चाहिए, because बहुत बार ये ज़रूरी होते हैं. Then we can always use our revenues. We can, government can always give those tax rebates and give those funds to the producers, so that they can come up with better solutions. Enforcing is a bigger task and a very important task, because we make policies, we do everything, then enforcement wale part pe we always lack. So enforcing and implementing things is important. And lastly, monitor and adjust the plastic waste management measures if necessary, and update the public on the progress. We should keep updating our public on progress. We should keep talking to them. We should keep interacting with them. We should keep motivating them, okay, so that they can help us. This is, I'm talking about the government part, that they should keep interacting with the people, with the individuals, with the common people, so that they can stay motivated, and they can keep doing work in this regard. So to end this topic, I would just like to say that we are the ones who have created this problem, and it is now our responsibility. It is our responsibility to do something about it, as an individual, as a producer, as a manufacturer. Okay? So we basically need to do something about it. It is our responsibility. We just cannot put it on somebody else. We should start from ourselves first, and then only we can probably expect from others. So that was all about today's lecture, the plastic pollution. I hope it was helpful to you. Thank you so much.